Good morning, everyone. How are you on this fine, not sunny day? Today I've tweaked it a little bit. Thought I was going to do an essay about the introduction, but I just thought, before that, I need to tell you what a critical essay is. So that's what I'm going to do today. So it's not how to do an intro, it's an introduction to critical essay writing, which is a wee bit different. Right, our word of the day to expand one's vocabulary is vilify. Ooh, fancy. Which is a verb, and it means to speak or write about someone in an unpleasant way or manner so that people have a low opinion of you. For example, the Nazi propaganda vilified the Jews. Our spelling word, remember tomorrow's our spelling bee, oh excited! And it's war themed. I'll pop the spelling words up on the Aim Higher page, but if you can't find them or you've lost them or you don't know where to go, I'll pop them back up there today. Remember, everything is in the Aim Higher group page, the resources, but you can ask to join and get access to everything that I'm producing for free. So today's spelling word is courageous. You're courageous if you're tuning in here every day. Arrgh. Pun of the day, you know how I like a cheesy pun to start us off. Mountains aren't just funny, they're hilarious. Hilarious. But like myself. Okay, our first task to get the brains, cogs moving and thinking. You've got the two words here, critical essay. What I'd like you to do is shuffle all the letters about in 1 minute and see how many words you can make out of critical essay that you can. For example, yes, that's in there. See what I did? Alexa, play. Alexa, stop. Good morning, Kat. Good morning, Orla. Thank you for saying so much nice comments about my tops. I'll try and wear a different one every day. I'm seeing if I can do it to the end of term. Exciting. Makes me go into the wardrobe and realise, oh, yes, you have put a bit of weight on. Lockdown weight. What can I say? How many words did you get then? Did you do well? I can't hear you. Shout louder. Let me know in the comments. Alright, so firstly I need to tell you what is a critical essay. So a critical essay is a type of academic writing, like school writing, where you analyse and evaluate a text, so a piece of writing of some sort. You must also show in that, as well as analysing it, you must show that you've understood it and that you've just basically got it. So in terms of, you can tell me things about the plot, the characters, where it's set, that sort of thing. For an essay to be critical, you need to make comments or argue certain things about it, and then, just like if you were in court giving evidence, not that I've ever been to court yet, you have to give evidence. So the same with this. So you have to back it up with proof from the text. That's where the quotes or references to the text come in. What isn't it? So when you hear the word critical, you know, if somebody's critical of you or your top or whatever you're doing, that usually suggests a negative thing, isn't it? We're used to hearing it in a negative way. But in this instance, it's not negative comments that you're really making at all. The word critical often means to make disapproving comments, a bit like vilify, but it's not the case in this, so don't get that confused. So to be critical also means to analyse the merits or the good things in a piece of literature, and that's what this is all about. You don't want to be, you know, making really horrible comments about the writer, so it's the kind of the opposite of that. So you might hear a lot of your teacher might hear a lot about critical thinking skills. Woo! So that kind of applies here. There's a lot of techniques that you'll use when you're doing critical thinking to putting it down in writing, so critical writing. So you hear a lot about that. It's a really handy intellectual asset to have. So writing sort of covers quite a lot of these. Critical essays should be informative, so they should tell me facts about the piece of writing, and obviously it's all based on that. You can't just make stuff up and then, you know, not back it up, sort of thing. So it's nothing to do with attacking the author. Hacha! That's me attacking. They involve, I know it was scary, they involve your critical thinking and analysis, or, you know, you're picking out things and seeing why they're amazeballs, basically. What kind of style is a critical essay? So critical essays are formal, you know, like the news. You would speak like this if you were reading the news, although I've got a new idea for a channel coming up. Whoa, watch this space. Or serious pieces of writing, so it's very formal. You know, you shouldn't really write slang words in it, like kids. You would write children. Children behave. Anyway, abbreviations, so I always remember my English teacher said don't use abbreviations. Things like doesn't. You would write does not. You know, it's very formal and proper, like this. It's pretty like in proper Queen's English. So don't write informal things. That's basically it. And also the essay should have a nice flow. So each paragraph should be connected in some way to the next. So that goes back to persuasive discursive essays, which should also have a nice flow. The essay should be as technically accurate as possible. So that is things like spelling, grammar, punctuation, paragraphing. So it's really important to proofread. Now, I know a lot of teenagers are lazy. Okay, I'm sorry I said it. But it's really important that you do that step. Do. Not that kind of do. Because if you don't, then you run the risk of it not making sense, of it, you know, there's been too many errors in it. And if we can't understand what it means when we first read it, then you're kind of going into the fail category already. So we don't want that. So it's really important after each paragraph, I always say to kids, stop. Read it. Hammer time. So just read what you've written and make sure that there's, you know, or get someone else to read it. If it's not an exam, obviously, can't say an exam. Excuse me, invigilator, can you read it? But if it's just one you're doing in class, maybe you could swap and look at each other's, because you don't know you're misspelling a word till someone tells you. You know what I mean? So you might not be able to spot your own mistakes. But if it has too many errors, then you run the risk of not passing it, which would be a total shame and I'd cry. So what is the purpose of a critical essay? The purpose is to present an argument, a line of thought that should be developed and consistent throughout. Most people will fail this because they're not answering the question. That's the reason why most people fail this. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow or Thursday about the question and how important it is to answer it. So you're meant to be the expert. I always remember my English teacher said, pretend somebody doesn't know this text. They should know it by the end of the essay. That came as good advice because I still remember it a few years later. I know I'm just 21. On Mars. You're the expert, so there should be a personal engagement with the text. I should get a feel that you've really enjoyed it in some way. It should have a clear focus, like I said, with the question. So you can't just write everything you know about it, because you'd be there all night like that wee dude. You know, you'd be writing absolute screeds, and then I've seen it all the time. I hate when kids come out the exam and say, I did well, miss, I wrote 9 pages. And I'm like, remember, it's not quantity, it's Exactly, quality. So you need to write in terms of the question. Doesn't matter how much you write, it's are you answering the question and is it accurate? So features of a critical essay, what is it going to be sort of based on? So I've done a lot of videos about the discursive persuasive writing. It's very much the same. So you've got an intro, so I think of that as a head. Then you've got the main body paragraphs. Obviously some bodies are bigger than others. But the plumper the better in terms of these essays. So it's got a topic sentence which is developed, then it's backed up with relevant evidence, and then you've got analysis of that evidence, and then it's got the wee conclusion, so that's the feet. So we'll talk about the structure on Thursday. How do we assess it as markers or as teachers? So you're going to be assessed basically all the way through from like P7 if you've done them already up to S5-6 based on these three things. You've got to show that you've understood the text, that you can analyse the writer's techniques and see why they're amazeballs, and that it's accurate. So that's the four things you're sort of based, you're marked on. So understanding is basically what is being said by the writer. So that's your basic facts. So what happens in this text or story or poem or whatever you're doing? What can you tell me about the plot? What key incidents are there? What characters are there? What do you know about the characters? That sort of thing. What is the text about? So that links to the themes. I might do a wee essay on a wee lesson on the themes. Purpose of the piece of writing. So why did they write it? So if you think about Ernest Muller writing Assault or Wilfred Owen writing Disabled, it was to show the true horrors of war and reality on the war fields, right? So that was the purpose, to obviously get the truth out there and get sympathy for the soldiers. So that's the purpose. That's what I mean by purpose. It'll also ensure, like I said already, that your essay is relevant, and that means picking the right question, which is another skill. I know there's a lot of talking today, I'm really sorry, but I hope you're still engaging. Hi if you have. Analysis, so that's your next skill. So I've mentioned this already in another video, so it's how the writer says something. How does that come across? How do we know that the writer is, cruel or sad or whatever? So that's picking out and discussing the techniques, which is what we've been trying to do in the videos. Your onomatopoeia, if it's poetry, or word choice, or sentence structure, that sort of thing. And then the SQA call it using critical terminology. Woo! Fancy! That just means, are you using appropriate language, identifying techniques, like I've said, and using words like, that emphasises the blah blah blah, the enjambment, the onomatopoeia, you're using the English techniques and mentioning them and being quite confident in saying why they're amazing. That's where all the annotations come in here, you see? See what I've been doing? Building up, building up. And like I've said already, you need to back up everything you say by picking out all these amazing techniques and discussing them. And to link with analysis, evaluation and analysis are like bezies. So you're going to say how effective these techniques are. So that's where you're going to talk about, that's where you've got an engagement with the text, where you see that you have a rapport with the writer, or that you've really enjoyed it or been forced to enjoy. And then you're using sort of appropriate language to show that, to say that you've gained knowledge and enjoyed it. So basically, picking the right quotes is really important, and we'll talk about that later on in the week. And lastly, as I've said, it's got to be as accurate as possible. If it's full of errors, if I can't understand it when I first read it, then you're not going to pass. So that line of thought, that argument that's trickling all the way through, needs to be presented in an accurate way. So your spelling needs to be as close to great as it can. Obviously, that I'm talking like really common words that you're meant to know already. If you're getting onomatopoeia wrong, that's fine, right? That's understandable. Just try and get it right if you can. Write a wee book of misspelt words and then practice, as we've said in the other video. But if it's normal, like everyday words like the there and there, then the SQA or the teacher will be like, they don't even know how to spell there, or their own name. That's not a good start. So accuracy is really important, and obviously so that we can understand what you're trying to say, because it would be a total shame if I couldn't really make out what you're saying. So lastly, the sort of last thing is wee reminders. So this is section 2. I'm talking about S4 and 5. You know, because obviously this video is for everybody. So this is what you're aiming for if you're in junior school or primary. So the critical essay is section 2 of the exam, which is the critical reading paper. It's worth 20 marks. That means 20% of your exam. And you've got roughly 45 minutes to write the whole essay. And that's from picking the question, planning it. What do you mean planning it? Planning it. And writing the whole thing. So that's not a long time. So that's why over the course of the year or the next few years, you'll get practice in doing that. It's not going to be like in a class where you've got all week and the teacher helping you. This also must be a different genre from the first section if you're doing a critical reading paper. So you might have done poetry, which is very popular for the Scottish text. That means you can't do a poem for this. That would have to be a different genre. So a wee reminder of what the genres are. You can do drama, so this is what you'll be studying over the next few years if you're younger, or if you're in 4th or 5th year, you're going to be doing at least one of these, if not usually 2 or 3. So you would study a play, so that's your drama section. Prose, now depending on what level you're at, prose can be split into fiction and non-fiction. Right, 20 seconds, what's the difference between the two? Shout it at each other. Difference between fiction and non. I'm going to start teaching dance, I think. What do you think? My daughter would be cringy. She's going to try and teach me a TikTok, but it's not going very well. Okay, so fiction is obviously your made up stuff. I always remember these. This is the way I always teach my classes. Some of you may know. Hi, Kat. The fiction fairy. Because fairies aren't real, depending how you are. You might believe in them. Non-fiction. News, that's the way I always remembered it. So news, obviously we get fake news, but news are generally facts. So non-fiction news, you see the alliteration. So fiction fairies, non-fiction news, that's the way to remember it. Always worked for me anyway. I've remembered a few years later. So if you're doing fiction at school, that's things like your novels and your short stories. If it's non-fiction, then that's like people like George Orwell who have written like essays about particular things, so that's non-fiction. Poetry, which we've been studying all last week. Film and television drama, so sometimes, you know, a little bit of media, your teacher could show you a film and then you have to write a critical essay about it, so, you know, there's an option as well. There is also, in talking about S4, 5, 6, there is also a language section, which is how does language incorporate your, or establish different themes or things, but I've never in my whole career seen anybody do that. So that's why I've put a little score through it. So the main ones are the ones I've just mentioned. So the most popular over the years are drama, prose, whether it be non-fiction or fiction, and poetry. But some teachers do enjoy doing film. And that's it. That's how, that's a wee intro into a critical essay, what a critical essay is. So tomorrow we've got our spelling bee. Get practicing. I'm going to pop the words straight back on the Aim Higher page just now. Thursday we're going to then look at how to write an intro of a critical essay, and I hope that some of you will be engaging and actually writing them at home and then sharing them with me on my page to make sure that there are people there. Hello. So we've got our spelling bee tomorrow, and if you haven't done so, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe my channel and get help on the Aim Higher Facebook page. All the resources are there, and that's the link for the Google Classroom if you're not on Facebook. And if you'd like to say thank you, that's what to do. Just send me £1 or £2 just to keep me going in cups of tea, which my husband has brought me, and he's so good, well trained. Alright, have a fantastic day everyone. I'll see you tomorrow for our spelling bee. Yeah! Alexa,